Hello, everyone. Thanks for logging on to CBSColorado.com. Time now for a few extra minutes with John Mitchell. And if you were watching Monday Live, we just finished off this great locker room celebration in Montreal. And you, as a coach, speaking on kind of how significant that was.
Yeah, it's such a cool moment when you can be a part of something like that. And again, I was kind of talking about how you let the team drive themselves, right? And when they start veering off a little bit, you guide them back onto the road, and then you let them drive the bus again. But when you're a coach and you win a big game, or for, obviously Montreal, you win a big series, there's something, especially when you're an ex-player, that you almost can't help yourself to get in there and feel a part of the team like you're actually still a player.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't do it very often, but you get that moment where you can hop in the room and rile the boys up and get them all fired up, and you get yourself fired up. And then before you know it, you're beating your chest, humming, and everybody else is doing it. And then you could just see Marty St. Louis, the pure joy and the smile that was on his face. And I don't think it was just because they won the series. It was because he was in the room with his players, with the team, with the organization, with the staff all around. Everybody's looking at you, and you get to say your piece, and then you get to fire the guys up. It's such a cool feeling, and that's as close as a coach you can get back to feeling like a player and feeling in the game. So every once in a while, you got to let loose, and you got to enjoy it.
That's so special, especially to hear it from that perspective. That's really, really cool. When you talk about something you mentioned there is player-led teams. And when I look at the Avs, and especially with Gabe as the captain, I mean, that's kind of a significant piece when you look at kind of Bednar and this team. Why is that player-led teams are usually the ones that often end up being able to win it all?
Well, at the end of the day, you are the players are the guys that are out on the ice performing.
Yeah.
They're the ones that have to score the goals. They're the ones that have to block the shots. They're the guys that have to take hits to make plays, right? They're the guys that have to know what the structure is of your team and how you're going to play. Mm-hmm. As a coach, again, you are just a guide. You're there to help them in ways where, it's not a performance-based thing. Yeah. It's like, this is the structure. This is how I would love for you guys to play, because I believe this is the way we're going to have success as a group and as a team. And then you're hoping that your leadership group will buy into that, and they're going to sell that to the rest of the team. And then, again, those are the guys that are always in the dressing room. The coach doesn't come in between periods and stay in the dressing room for the full 18 minutes and talk about this and that and this and that. No. The coach comes in within the last minute before you go out on the ice, kind of tells them a couple key points of, hey, what we're doing well, what we need to do better. Let's go have a period, fellas. And then out you go.
Yeah.
The other 17 minutes, it's just the players in the room. It's just the guys talking amongst themselves. So if you really think about it, the amount of time the coach is actually in the dressing room in between periods is minimal. Yeah. And that's all year long, right? Unless the team's really struggling, then you're maybe coming in and putting video on the board in between periods, being like, listen, what we thought was going to work this game isn't working. We got to change things up, right? And then as a coach, you change personnel, you change lines, you do what you need to do to kind of mix things up to get a spark or whatever the case may be, right? So it's fun when you can get a group and you can get a team that does things kind of on their own, and the leaders kind of take the bulls by the horns by the bull, or am I saying that right?
Bull by the horns.
Bull by the horns, yes. And then they go with it.
Either way,
yeah.
Get the horns.
So yeah, you grab the horns, you're on the bull, whatever it is. So that's what you want out of your players. That's what you want out of a team. You don't want a coach, and I don't think there's coaches. Maybe there were coaches like this way back in the day, but I think that's changed now, where a lot of teams are player-led.
Yeah.
Right? And like you said, those are the teams that do the best. Is the teams that have that culture of they're a super tight-knit group. All of the guys, all at the same time. They're all rowing the boat in the same direction, pulling the rope in the same direction. Whatever analogy you want to use.
Yeah.
Those are the teams that go far. Those are the teams that have opportunities to win championships.
I love it. So we're talking about winning a championship. This series feels like it's going to be wild. No pun intended. Pun intended. In your mind, what do the Avs need to do to close this out in however many games, but take a stranglehold and win this series?
Well, I mean, I think the Avs have to play to their strengths, right? They're a very dynamic team off the rush, right? Especially in transition when they steal a puck. they go, and they play in straight lines, and they try and get to the net, right? And when you get Nate skating and moving, and you get Nate just kind of dancing through the neutral zone, and then slowing things down, kind of coming into the offensive zone and finding guys coming in late, that's when the Avs are at their best, and that was on full display last night. Now, again, this is the playoffs. You play the same team minimum 4 games in a row, so adjustments are going to be made, things are going to change, right? So the Avs, you have to be able to evolve a little bit too, even though the Avs are the team that dictate play, right? Something's going to happen, something's going to change where, all right, like what we're doing isn't necessarily working, right? Sometimes they might build a wall or whatever, and okay, we have to chip a puck in behind and just go and get it in forecheck. The Avs are fully capable of doing that, and they understand that. And they understand that this is playoff hockey, and it's not game 20 of the regular season where it's just run and gun, you don't really care. I shouldn't say don't care, but hey, I turned the puck over, whatever, big deal.
Yeah.
Right? Each game, each shift, each period just bears that much more weight the deeper you go into a series and the deeper you go into playoffs.
I love it. All right. Well, so much to digest. Johnny Mitchell, thank you so much for taking the time tonight. You can catch him tomorrow on the pregame show before the game on Altitude.
That's correct.
Hour and a half before the game. And thank you for joining us. Hope to catch up with you again as this playoff's going to go on.
Of course, yeah. I foresee a fairly long playoff run for the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah,
yes.
we'll be around till June. All right, Johnny,
love
thank you
it.
so much. We appreciate you.
My pleasure.
Guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.